Some days I can get everything done. Other days I can barely convince myself to put a cup in the sink. Those are the days that used to derail me. One bad day would turn to two, and then three, and then suddenly my house felt impossible to catch up on. And for a long time, I thought the answer was just to become more disciplined or more motivated, but that's not what helped. What finally made the biggest difference was building habits that still work on my worst ADHD days. Not habits that require motivation, not habits that just work when everything's going well. What I needed is habits that still worked when my brain was fighting me. And if you ever have one of those days, even something as simple as brushing your teeth can feel like a struggle. And here are 9 ADHD home habits that save me on my worst days. These aren't productivity habits, they are survival habits. ADHD home habit number 1 is keep the basics running. One thing I've realized, there are only a few things that make my home feel like it's falling apart. And usually it's the dishes, trash, laundry, or just running out of things I use every day. So on my worst days, these are the things I focus on. I don't worry about organizing, I don't worry about decluttering, I don't deep clean, I just keep the basics moving. Because if those 4 things stay under control, then my house feels more manageable. And that means everything else can wait. And you can see my issue right here. My paper towels are really running low. I need to replace it, so I come in and replace it with the new big roll of paper towel before the roll of paper towel that's low runs out. ADHD home habit number 2 is lower the standard. This took me years to accept. Sometimes good enough really is good enough. For instance, I roll towels instead of folding them, or maybe I'll run the dishwasher before it's completely full. And years ago, I would have looked at that and said, I'm doing this all wrong. And now I realize doing it imperfectly is better than not doing it at all. And that's because doing things until they're perfect usually means you're never going to start. And here's a phrase I really like: done is better than perfect. And you can see right here, I'm coming up to the dishwasher. I open it, I just grab the one bowl that I need, and then I close the dishwasher back up and leave the clean dishes in there until I need to actually have something or use something again. And I will come back and unload the rest of the dishwasher, but when I have these little energy days, these bad days, this is all I can muster to do, just get one dish at a time. ADHD home habit number 3 is reduce decisions. And here's something I learned about ADHD. It's not always a motivation problem. Sometimes it's a decision problem. Every little choice costs energy. And so what I do, I remove as many decisions as I can. I separate certain laundry. I keep similar things together. I make common or daily tasks require fewer choices. Because the less thinking I have to do, the more likely that I actually do it. And here's a good example. I have separate laundry baskets for different things. One of the laundry baskets I have here is for tops, shirts, and everything like that. The other is for bottoms, jeans, pants, and everything like that. And the cool thing about this is I know if I need to find something that's clean as a shirt or maybe jeans or pants, I know that they're in these 2 different laundry baskets. I'm not folding them, I'm not hanging it up unless I have clothes that have to be hung up. It makes it really easy. I don't have to actually go through and try to figure out what kind, do I need to go here to find this? Do I need to go there to find that? I know exactly the location of whatever I need to wear. And by the way, I did make a free ADHD decoder and checklist. The link to get the checklist is in the description. ADHD home habit number 4 is reset one space. When my whole house feels overwhelming, I don't clean my whole house. I clean one space. Usually maybe my kitchen counter, and that's because that's the place I see the most within my home. And that's when I found out that something interesting happens. Even if the rest of the house isn't perfect, having one clean space makes everything feel less overwhelming. And sometimes that's enough to build momentum, and sometimes it isn't. But either way, I've made my day feel a little bit lighter. And you can see right here, I love to drink coffee, but look at my coffee station, the counter all in front of it. It is a complete mess. And so I go through, as you see, and clean up the counter, removing things, putting stuff in the right place and straightening it up. And then you'll see the result right here as well. ADHD home habit number 5 is make remembering automatic. I've stopped expecting my brain to remember everything. And that's because it won't. So I let my environment remember for me. Appointments, groceries, birthdays, phone numbers, timers, calendar reminders. The less I have to remember, the less overwhelmed I feel. And one example is I do have a dry erase board in my home. I put it on the refrigerator. It's one of those magnetic ones. I can write whatever I need to remember on here, And that way, if I have forgotten something, I can look at the dry erase board, and then that will remind me of whatever I need to remember or I'm trying to get a reminder for. And then when I actually do need a timer, I use a visual timer. I turn the dial, and as I turn the dial, it fills up with the color, and then as the time goes by, the color will go down. I can look over to the visual timer and know just by looking at the color how much time I have left and how close I am to getting to the end. And this one actually blinks when it actually gets to the end. ADHD home habit number 6 is remove one problem. Instead of asking, what should I clean? I ask, what's annoying me the most? Maybe it's the pile of Amazon boxes I have in my home. Maybe it's the pile of mail that I have, or maybe it's just the shoes by the door. And here's what I do. I remove one thing, just one thing, that's it. And here's a funny thing that happens. Once that one frustration disappears, the whole room feels easier to deal with. And you can see right here, these clothes have ended up in the chair because I put them there. And then I have a laundry chair. And so I come by the chair and pick up those clothes and remove them from the chair, freeing up the chair, but also eliminating one pile of laundry. And as a bonus, I can use my chair again as well. ADHD home habit number 7 is project tomorrow. This habit changed how I think. On my bad ADHD days, I stopped asking, how do I catch up today? Instead, I ask, how can I keep tomorrow from getting worse? For instance, maybe I don't fold the laundry, but I make sure the wet clothes don't stay in the washer. Maybe I don't clean the whole kitchen, but I throw away the leftovers that are going to make the kitchen stink tomorrow. And here's the thing, some days you're not making progress. You're preventing future problems. And if you think about it, that's enough. And that's because today's goal is not progress. The goal is protecting tomorrow. And here's an example. On my sink, I have a drying rack with dishes on the drying rack. So I'm going to clear that drying rack off, put my dishes back to where they belong, and now I've freed up that drying rack for when I have to cook tomorrow and have dishes on there again. If you are enjoying the content and getting value out of the content, then subscribe to the channel and like the video. ADHD home habit number 8 is give yourself permission to pause. For years, I spent my bad ADHD days feeling guilty. I think I should be cleaning, I should be doing something. And the funny thing is, the guilt never made me productive. All it did is make me shut down even more. So now if I know this day is one of those days, I'll intentionally rest. And because I'm not fighting myself anymore, I end up doing something later anyway. And it's not because I forced it. It's because my brain finally had a chance to recharge. And you can see right here, I'm reading, I have my coffee there, ready to drink some coffee as I'm reading. It's just a very relaxing atmosphere. It's just like, I just want to take a break. I don't want to think about anything right now, but I will come back and do something later in the day. I just need the time to recharge. ADHD home habit number 9 is stop before falling behind. This is one of the biggest lessons I've learned. I don't wait until my house feels overwhelming anymore. The moment I notice things starting to slide, I do something, anything. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. And that's because I've learned keeping up is always easier than trying to catch up. And that's really what all these habits are about. They're not about having the perfect house. They're about making sure one bad ADHD day does not turn into 5 ADHD days. And here's an easy example. You see me right here, I'm just throwing away trash into the trash can, and that means I don't have to worry about that same trash tomorrow. And the benefit of this is I'm not falling behind with additional trash in my home. I'm making sure to maintain my home by getting rid of the trash now instead of having it accumulate over a certain number of days. One thing living with ADHD has taught me is the habits that save me usually aren't the impressive ones. They're little habits. They're boring habits, the ones that don't look exciting. But the thing is, they keep everything from falling apart. And if you're in a season that you're having more bad ADHD days instead of good ones, I hope this reminds you, you don't have to do everything. You just have to do enough to help future you. That's one of the biggest changes I've made over the last few years. And it's made my home feel so much more manageable. And you might be wondering, how can I get started with ADHD organization or learn more about it? A playlist is gonna come up, click the box, it will take you there, has videos that will help you with